You are watching the #1 podcast in the whole entire YouTube wrestling community, and I'm one of your hosts, Juan.
And I'm your other host, Jean-Paul Leek.
And together we are Rope Break. And Jean-Paul, it is Wednesday, so you know it's no NXT anymore. No, none of that. It's actually AEW Dynamite, so you know both of us, you show it, Jean-Paul, we both our marks. So we have to, like, you know, show our love for like AEW, and we're gonna be talking about this show. A lot of developing. I will say the only bullshit is like Cody showing that he's gonna actually be a host now. He's gonna be having that TV show, and like I'm like, really, you have to be like the Miz?
I was just gonna say, yeah, this is like the Miz. Yeah. So that announcement at the end was bullshit. I thought it was gonna be tying to something, which I would say in the main event, which I thought would have been legit. But no, Dynamite tonight. If you're gonna ask me, it was good for like the debuts and the promos and the heel turns, but pretty much all the matches besides the main event, I thought were kind of shit. You know, I didn't think really any of the matches, any of the in-ring stuff was good.
I feel that sometimes these shows are not all about the wrestling. Are more, you know, like to like get you through the pay-per-view, get you to the pay-per-views, and that's when you actually see the wrestling. Because I feel like sometimes SmackDown gives me the same way. Giving it the same kind of feeling.
But that's because it's all these shows, not just AEW. It's even some weeks on NXT. It's because they only really put all their stock into like 2 or 3 storylines, and then the rest of the roster is just like, just go out there and wrestle, I guess.
Yeah.
And then it's like there's no investment. I mean, you know, you saw Ty Conti debut, but then it's like she kind of got not really squashed, but it's like, okay, you know. And then you saw Orange Cassidy versus Angelico, and it's like, okay, does anybody care about that? No. You know, Jake Hager and Jericho going against, you know, Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela, and it's like, does anybody care about that? No. Well, I mean, some people might, but you know.
With Sonny Kiss, but like you said, like we saw a lot of like development and a lot of like the fallout of what happened on All Out. We saw a lot of it. We heard a lot of it. Like sometimes I wish these shows will have less segments, but like, you know, that's what we gotta do. So let's talk about it, Jean-Paul. But you're right. Like the debuts good, you know, like the storytelling better. But when it comes to delivering the wrestling,
and maybe one quick thing before we actually start is, now that All Out is over, you had time to digest it. Some people are saying it was one of the worst pay-per-views in the past couple years.
A lot of people,
do you agree with that?
I wouldn't say the worst pay-per-views, but like
I'd say like one of the worst. Would you say anywhere in the bottom top, like in the bottom?
AEW, I would put him in the bottom. Yeah, for AEW,
I think they mean of all like WWE, you know, New Japan.
You know, in 2020, I will say maybe I will. Double or Nothing was a little better. Double or Nothing was a little better, but you know, I wouldn't call it like, you know, terrible.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess a lot of people aren't happy because, you know, it's not WWE Network. Sign up for free, you know, your first month, or $10 after that. No, this was $50.
Well, but what does Robert do? What does Robert do? You know, yeah, we're watching a shady website, baby. That's right. We come clean right here in front of all of you. Shady website, baby. If you guys want the shady website where we get the pay-per-view,
subscribe, and we'll send you the link.
And we'll give it to you. You know, like not $10, just, you know, one subscription, no fee. Just give us that. We'll give you the website, the link, so you can go and watch free pay-per-views. Good streaming, legit stuff. So thank you so very much for watching. You know, guys, I really appreciate all the love, all the comments. You know, people are really getting engaged with our product, what we have, what we offer. You know, don't forget NXT review right there, Jean-Paul. Really, it took me a little bit of time to develop this, but legit, you know, Finn Balor is our new NXT champion, you know, for NXT Super Tuesday 2. So, like, good stuff. Like, we got covered all the whole show. We got the cage match with Rhea Ripley and Mercedes Martinez. Io Shirai going against Shotzi next week. A lot of good stuff from NXT. So, you know, Jean-Paul, let's talk about now AEW. Like you said, this started out with, like, the Jurassic Express going against the Lucha Bros. Lucha Bros with, like, Eddie Kofi Kingston. This match I really like. You know, of course, these 4 guys, again, these 2 teams are good when it comes to tag team wrestling. Lucha Bros, probably one of the best, if not the best team in the world. Do they have gold to support that statement? No. Are they being booked correctly to support my statement? No. So, can I say that they're the best team in the world? No. But Jean-Paul and I know that, like, the ability and what they've done before have given them enough legitimacy for us to say that. Did you like this?
I mean, the match was okay. You know, I agreed with what you say. The Jurassic Express is a good team, but you know they kind of lose all the time when it really matters. So it's like, they're really not portrayed that way. Same thing with the Lucha Bros. They started off like a house on fire. They were one of the hottest teams in AEW, but like everything else, AEW was a lot better in the beginning, and then now present day, it's like, ooh man, you know. This is what we have to watch. But yeah, I mean, you know, one thing to say, Pentagon Jr., he had to change his name because of copyright reasons. He's not allowed to use the Pentagon Jr. He has to use the Penta Cero M or El Cero M, whatever it is. So
Cero Miedo, Penta Cero Miedo. Means, you know, no fear.
That's so he had to change it. Yeah. He just had to change it, so that's what, you know, people are like, oh, I don't know if it's just in the United States, but in Mexico, maybe. I don't know what the whole thing is, but he had to change it. But
let me know if at some point we have to, like, you know, copyright your name, because if we're gonna have issues outside of the States or like,
we gotta copyright it. Yeah,
your name is Jean Paul Leegg, right? Is that where
exactly? Yep, that's what it says. Yep,
that's what it says. Leegg. Okay, good stuff.
It was stamped by Triple H, the King of Kings, when he delivered me into the earth. He stamped it.
As Jean Paul Leegg. Good stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, it was good. But you know, then of course, there's a little bit maybe dissension with the Lucha Bros we kind of saw here, and you're like, what's going on?
They lost, though. Come on.
That's what I mean. And it's like, you know, then you get the roll up and commentaries like, oh my God, Jungle Boy does it again, and it's like, oh, you know, I like to even talk about the match. It's like you don't care. Because it's like, okay, both these teams are, no offense, they're losers. So it's like, oh, losers versus losers, and they're like, oh, you know, maybe we'll see, you know, one of these teams could, you know, be going for the tag belts after this. And it's like, no, because one of these teams doesn't even exist anymore.
And they did they did a Pentagon, the driver, right? They did that. So I'm like, I'm thinking they're going to win legit, you know, the Jurassic Express, whatever. No, like they kicked out, or like there was some dissension between the one, and then Jungle Boy once again rolled him up. And then, like we said, there was a lot of dissension. Right here, we have a beautiful picture showing that they were going to go at it. And then Eddie Kingston comes out and is like, no, don't be bullshit. We're friends. Keep it legit. And then we're going to go at it one more time. But then he's like, no, legit. Like, let's keep fucking up together. Okay.
And I like, you know, because he pretty much said, like, you know, why are we all being bullshit? I said before the Battle Royal, we all stick together. And we didn't do that. And then he said something like, oh, I wasn't, you know, eliminated. You know, listen, go back and read the rules and watch the tape. I wasn't eliminated. So they're playing with that little storyline, so that kind of has some intrigue. And, you know, Eddie Kingston has intensity. Sometimes what he says, he drags it on forever, and you're like, oh my God, you know, please just say what you want to say. But he has the intensity, and I think none of those other four guys, at least on the mic, have intensity. And and then I do love what he said to the Blade. He's like, where's your wife? That's right. He's like, we're the only ones who have each other's back. Because he's like, your wife's not even here with you. She's with freaking
she's with the Nine. She's one of the Nightmare Sisters. Yeah, I like that. You know, where the hell's your wife? You know, what the fuck? Yeah. You know, I mean, yeah.
So that's what I mean. Like, Kingston to me is legit, so I don't hate him.
No. I mean, like, if they keep portraying him well, I think it's going to be good. So now, Jean Paul, let's move on to Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy had a lot of things to talk about. You know, a lot of people were like really upset with how they handled the match. I even asked, let me shout out Tyler Ash, you know, one of our friends that he's a wrestler. I said, what would you do? You know, if this happens to Jean Paul or myself and we're the ones having the concussion. He's like, I'll just finish it. I pinned the dude. I'm like, I'm telling him, fuck you, it's done. You know, if I know that like he's really hurt, I'm like, you don't beat him anymore? No, it's done. So like a lot of people were saying like they mishandled that completely. So he had a lot of things to say, Jean Paul, but he came out and he seemed in good shape. He seemed able to talk. So that means that like he's not injured. So like right there, he was just talking about pretty much like all thanking everybody, the fans, for their concerns, for the support, for the love and everything. We got to see Reby Hardy right there, like, and she's thanking his wife, kids, and everything. And he says that like, you know, I'm not gonna scare anybody anymore, and I'm gonna try to become, you know, once I fully clear to wrestle, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna chase the AEW Championship because it's time for Matt Hardy to have gold. So I mean, I did like this. And I think that, like you said, like, I don't know, Tony Khan didn't handle the situation well. Maybe it's because it's the first time that they had to actually handle with some kind of, like, scary spot like this. So you tell me, Jumbo, what do you think about it?
Yeah, but, I mean, see, that's the thing which I don't understand. Maybe they signed all these veterans and they don't actually, you know, have, you know, word in Tony Khan's ear and he doesn't listen to them. But, you know, you have Jerry Lynn, Dean Malenko, Jim Ross. You have all these veterans, you know, on your roster. You don't think nobody back there is a producer to be like, yo, like, he's done. Just have Guevara pin him. Just book a rematch months later. Then you have Hardy get his win. Like, it's not worth it. Just, you know. But hey, I guess he doesn't, or he doesn't listen because, you know, for whatever reason. But no, this promo was good by Hardy. Like I said, this should have been what we heard from him in the beginning. He should have showed up as Matthew Hardy, been like, hey, WWE, I had 1,000 gimmicks. No gimmicks here. I want to be a champion. I want to show the world I can still go. Because it's pretty much what he said here. He's like, you know, I'm not going to be the Daredevil. I'm not, because his shirt says like, I never die or something like that. Die. Yeah. So he's like, no. He's like, yeah, maybe the shirt is true, but he's like, I'm also extremely lucky, so I'm going to take things serious now. So and that's what it should have been from the beginning. So hopefully he rests up when he comes back. To me, this is the last shot. If he comes back after this and he fails, then, you know, hey, just when he retires, I'll be like, okay, hang up,
and then it's fine because you've had a really great career. You know, you've done everything that it was for you to be done. So like you said, I think that like, hey, go be a dad. Even was saying, you know, hi to his kids. Be a dad. You have enough money. You have everything. So like, man, you want to go back and be a producer backstage. Because even in WWE, he was already acting as a producer.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's getting a little experience. There you go. Be a dude. Help out the
I wouldn't even if he goes back there when he's done. When his AEW contract's done, he goes back to WWE as a producer. I wouldn't doubt it.
But yeah, you know, they always loved Jeff. He was always like, hey, it's like Jean-Paul, like, and we shouldn't talk about WWE, but it's like Billy Kay and Peyton Royce. They love Peyton Royce. That's Jeff. Billy Kay's Matt Hart. You know, that's pretty much. It's just the hook right there. You know, that's what it is. So now, Jean-Paul, let's move on to Orange Cassidy, like you were saying. Orange Cassidy going against Angelico. So this was pretty quick, and again, to give more, you know, hype to what happened on All Out with the Mimosa match, and Orange Cassidy getting the win over Chris Jericho. So this was also like really quick, like I said, and then Orange Cassidy pretty much beat Angelico really quick. But actually, the main thing is that like, and then Santana and Ortiz, Pride and Powerful, that they don't get called that anymore. Pride and Powerful, like they came out and they beat the crap out of Orange Cassidy, and then, you know, we got the Best Friends to come out and then challenge them to like a parking lot match, right?
Yeah, because there's not a single just normal wrestling match on AEW television. You know, we saw the tag team match later on tonight with Jericho and, you know, Jake Hager. That couldn't have just been a regular match. No, that has to be a stipulation. And it's like, you know, now this match next week has to be a stipulation. When you keep doing stipulations, that's what people are going to expect. Nobody will care about a regular wrestling match anymore. Yes. And you're also going to turn off a lot of fans because it's like, oh, this is just dudes just beating the shit out of each other with trash cans and folding chairs. I can just go watch, you know, CZW or Juggalo Wrestling and just, you know, instead, because then the people actually beat the shit out of each other for real instead of just fake beating the shit out of each other. So I'm not looking forward to that match. Pride and Powerful, when they debuted at last year's All Out, when AEW was still booking legit, you know, the sky was the limit for this team. Now they're just in a feud and they're like, oh, my mom will be there with the minivan. And the mom will probably cause the distraction, so then Pride and Powerful will lose. Yeah. Because, you know, the baby faces have to go over in literally every single feud. I can't tell you the last time a heel went over. Besides Brody Lee and Jericho, and Brody Lee, they did it because Cody's going to film movies and TV shows. And
It's going to be the new Miz. So, like,
I mean, the only thing of interest here is they're like, oh, Orange Cassidy showing a lot of like aggression, a lot of, you know, he's
intensity,
just intensity, Like, so I mean, so I would like if he would turn heel and split up. I know that they turn a lot of people heel, but to me, his moveset sucks. He's boring. Like, not boring, but it's just like, oh, the Superman punch, you know, it's just the same thing. Oh, the dives and this and that. And I'm like, I want to see something different. So I think with the sunglasses, the cockiness, not caring, if he would be a heel, it would resonate a little more with me.
Now, there you go. You know, like you're not a big fan. I mean, I think that, like, he's okay. I think he can be, this is like maybe the steps forward for him to develop himself even better. But we'll see
the only thing I'll say is, like, if he would ever be a champion, like, oh, you know, oh, he beats like John Moxley or somebody, then done. Then to me, the company's done.
It will have to, like, you know, take for Cassidy to change a little bit more, you know, talk a little more, do more for him to be a champion, because he's the guy that represents your company, at least for me. But we'll see what they do with that, Jumbo. Let's go now to one of, like, the best spots of the night, or the men's moment segments of the night, and that's when, like, Kip Sabian, he promised that he's gonna bring the best man. And, you know, like with Penelope Ford, they're going to get married next week on Dynamite, I think, or like in a few weeks, right? They were not.
I don't think they know.
Well, like, yeah, well, they're still planning. So I think that, like, he introduced a few people first, right? I saw like I saw a fat guy coming out.
Yeah, some fat guy from Twitch, Brian Pillman Jr. So
Brian
hey,
Pillman
you know,
Jr.
thanks.
came out. See, that was good. That was good.
Thanks for coming here, Brian Pillman Jr. If you would have signed with NXT, you probably would have been booked a lot more legit. But you know, life goes on, I guess.
Life was on for Jean Paul, so you can say that like he's salty about. He loves Brian Pillman, you know, the dad. So he's really upset that like Brian Pillman is that the junior is actually portraying not too great on Dynamite. But then after those two failed attempts, it's like, well, if I'm finally gonna give you like the best man, is the most legit man, and Jean Paul mentioned Twitch. So he's a guy that actually is making more money on Twitch than what he made in WWE, and turned out to be Rusev Day or Miro Day right there. Miroslav Baristok. That is Alexander Rusev for everybody that knows him. He finally debuts with the absolutely worst hairstyle possible. He tries to be Cody Rhodes. I don't know why.
No. Know who he looks like? He looks like a really buff, like Eminem with a beard.
Yes. He wants to be a little
Slim
bit
Shady.
matters. Yeah, but like, you know, everybody was surprised. I was excited, you know, finally.
I didn't see no spoilers for this, so this was cool.
Yeah, so yeah, and that's what, like, see, that's the one thing that, like, you always have to surprise your audience, and that was really cool. He came out, he got a good promo, he was hugging, you know, Penelope, he was hugging Kip Sabian, and then he was saying, you know, like, everywhere that I go, you know, I'm always, like, the best one, I'm the best in Twitch, you know, I'm the best at, like, everything that I do, and, like, you guys, every time that you guys will tune in on AEW, I'll be doing the best things. I will be beating everybody, because right now, Rusev is all elite, or Miro in this case.
Yeah, and the best thing he said, he's, you know, he talked about being in the same house for 10 years, and he tried to make it like, you know, related to weddings. He's like, oh, you know, going after a ring for a wedding ring. You know, I was going after the same brass ring, and obviously that's the comment for Vince McMahon and his, oh, they just got to reach the brass ring, you know, and then of course at the end of this thing, he pretty much told Vince McMahon like to fuck off or screw himself. I forget what the actual line was, but I'm like, there goes Lana's booking. If they had any plans for Lana, done.
Oh, well, you know what's going to happen, though. You know, like, pretty much Renee Young, and we'll see Lana going to AEW.
And speaking of that, I heard her non-compete, which she doesn't compete, but whatever that means, is almost a year long.
Yeah, and remember, we covered this on one of our reviews last week. We said that, like, it was going to be a long time, because they asked John Moxley, so when are you going to come out? He's like, pretty much in a long time, and actually she doesn't want to like come out with me. So it's like, we only get together in bed. So like, legit for them, and you know, right there.
Yep, there he is.
The best man, Miroslav Baristok, Rusev, or Miro, is all elite rope break. So
now to me, to make this legit is if you would have Aiden English do the announcing at the wedding. You just bring him in.
Oh, that would be so legit, but like, I don't know. Oh well, Aiden English also was fired. So why don't they get Aiden English? Then Miro's Day.
That's what I mean. That would be so legit. I mean, but we'll see if they do that. Then I will applaud them because they did do something else. They listened to me, and
but what do you see on him, Jean Paul? Do you see him face? Do you see him heel? What's going on?
Oh well, if he's with Kip Sabian right now, he's gonna be. I mean, see, he's heel on like the sheet where it says Miro heel. But the fans are going to cheer him because he was like, so I'm going to retire. I hate wrestling. I'm so depressed. And then he comes back, so the fans are going to cheer him. So now he's babyface. So
yeah, no, we'll see. It's cool. I mean, like, see, finally, I think that Rusev or Miro, he has a lot of potential. This guy was a great wrestler. Even Roman Reigns, or like a lot of people were saying that he's the best guy that sells the spear. You know, because he's legit. Oh, remember? Oh, my shirt finally beat Roman. My shirt beat AJ Styles. And what does McMahon say? Or maybe they didn't do. Maybe they didn't make enough of, like, you know, like that's why they sold out. It's like, really? Can I live? You know, that's what happens when you just, you know, try your hardest to get to somebody's head, and so they don't even sell you. So you know, Jean-Paul, let's not be bitter. Let's move on. You know, to like, you know, our newest obsession, Sonny Kiss. Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela going against Chris Jericho and Jake Hager. So this is like a no disqualification match. I like this. I think Janela, and especially Sonny Kiss, they have a really good showing on this. Jericho, you know, pays for a few spots right there. Mostly like everything, like the workload of the match was like pretty much for Jake Hager. But I really like this. It was a good match. Sonny looks good. Joey Janela looks decent. And actually, did we think that they were going to win over the Inner Circle? Hell no. It was not going to happen. Right, Jean Paul?
Yeah, I mean, for me, this match didn't do anything. You know, it was just, okay, Joey Janela and Sonny Kiss is like a mid-card tag team. Like, yeah, it's like the odd couple. So it's like that kind of has some appeal to it. But what are they going to beat the Inner Circle? No, the Inner Circle just, you know, they all pretty much lost at, you know, All Out. So it's like, you know, nobody won. They were in the Battle Royal or, you know, singles matches that they lost. So it's like, what are you going to do? Have them lose again? Jericho is still the biggest thing, even though he's being portrayed and portraying himself like an idiot. He's still, you know, the biggest.
He's still
thing.
Le Champion.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, not to me in a couple weeks if he keeps doing what he's doing, but you know, he wants to be Le Champion again because after they won this thing, again, no surprise. You know, him and Hager, he was like, we're going after the tag belts because the Inner Circle's pretty much like they're done. He didn't say they're done, but he's like, you know, Guevara is injured.
Even he said,
Santana and Ortiz, they're pretty much, you know, in this blood feud with the best friends that makes no sense over somebody's fucking minivan. So he's like, it's just us, and we're going to go after the tag belts because, you know, we want to do something legit. And that just shows that they don't have anything to do with the Inner Circle because they could all be together, the four of them, and they could be going after whoever. Yeah. You know what I mean? You could do something, but they have to split them up, do their own little things. But, I mean, hey, we'll see where they go. The two of them could be legit because if they actually wrestle and are going against good opponents, it'll be a good match. But, you know, the one thing I will say, though, is Sonny Kiss did look better in this match than other matches. Just like when he hit that back elbow, like that was legit. It wasn't like the little, like the punches he throws out of like this, you know, like it was actually a legit, like Andrade almost elbow. So
it was good. It was good.
And even Jim Ross was like, that was stiff. And I was like, I bet it was stiff, Jim.
We're not going there because, you know, this guy has gone through a lot of fire because of those kind of like wardrobe malfunction, stiff, you know, hard, all of those things. You know, we're not, we're just going to keep it to example, Adam Hangman Page. Adam Hangman Page, he got to sit down with, you know, Cowboy shit, got to sit down with Tony Schiavone. He was asking, so what happened? And they were going over like the match at All Out, and he was saying that, hey, you know, they try, they've been having a lot of issues. He got kicked out of like the Elite, and but he says, you know, the world moves on, and I gotta keep going. So, did you like this promo about Adam Hangman Page?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I was like, when he was like, "Oh, you know, it is kind of my fault. Like, I was a little bullshit. I trusted FTR. I should have trusted my friends." I'm like, I mean, what he said that, and it's like, but then at least like the last thing is just like, yeah, you know, but what's done is done. You got to move on. You got to be legit. And then it definitely sounds like, you know, he's like, you know, maybe we can mend it with Kenny, but I don't know. He's like, we got to just, you know, he just kind of left it up in the air, and then we were all waiting for part 2.
Yes, we'll see what they do. Then we hear, you know, from the AEW champion, John Moxley.
John Cena.
You know, right there. Like, he was saying that, you know, he's like, just gonna... That's right. He's gonna, like, pretty much, he's focusing now on Lance Archer, and, you know, he knows that, like, he's dangerous. But, like, it's like, oh, my God, they keep pulling challenges, you know, after challenge after challenge. He goes, son of a bitch. Well, that's what happens when you're the AEW champion. Everybody's going to go after you. So that was cool. I really like this, you know. I really think that, like, the promo, like, John Moxley, like, for me, when you want a promo, John Moxley is the best. You know, but, you know, wrestling matches, maybe not like that. But, like, we also got to hear a little bit of, like, Lance Archer and the Snake. So we got to see, like, he's like, well, you know, now we have a title opportunity against you. So it's just going to be, you know, we are taking the AEW Championship because you've been the champion for far too long. You know, and I'm going to get my win back from, like, Wrestle Kingdom when you took away my United States Championship that nobody remembers, but Jean Paul and I do. And if you want to remember that, go and check our review because it's in the channel. This is from January when John Moxley beat Lance Archer. So, you know, that's going to be good. That's going to be really cool.
Yeah, and that'll be on the anniversary episode of Dynamite. So that'll be kind of a special episode. Hopefully they pull... hopefully, in October. Hopefully they pull the trigger on that, on Lance Archer, and he's the champ. But yeah, you know what I mean. I don't see it happening. You know, you can't see anyone else but me being the champ. So.
Superhuman. We'll see. Jean Paul. Let's keep moving. Like, we have a little bit of a promo from MJF, and pretty much he fired everybody. He's like, you know, I lost because every single one of you, the people that were actually running his campaign, the girl with a smile, done, and he got words with Wardlow. So he was like, because of you throwing the ring, not helping me out, and he's like, what the hell? So they will kind of go at it. So like you said, they're going to use this to build up Wardlow. I think that's where it's going to head. You know, let's make him like actually a baby face, and then it's kind of like, if you remember, The Miz with Alex Riley. That's like that. They work together, and then Riley turned on the Miz, and now Riley's babyface, and he goes against the Miz, and then he beats him.
Yeah, so but then you saw how much good that did for Alex Riley's career.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not, I'm just
to me, the only legit thing about him was the theme song.
Oh yeah. No,
other than that, done.
I agree too, but like we'll see. I mean, like you said, it's really complicated to book MJF right now, just because like he should have been champion by now. Not John Moxley, but that's what like they gave us, so they gotta run with it. So we'll see what they do. Jean Paul Revival, brand new AEW World Tag Team Champions, and they had like a toast with all the tag teams, because like they were gonna celebrate their title win on Saturdays at All Out, and they were like actually taking really great shots, like you said, Jean Paul. The WWE guys got the best promos, and it's absolutely the truth. They were like going against Christopher Daniels and Kazarian. Hey guys, we love you. Like we saw you when we were like teenagers or something. It's like if you guys will be at your prime, it will be a hell of a match. 20 years ago, you guys would probably beat us, but not anymore. And then they go against Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy and the Jurassic Express. It's like, really, you think that they're gonna get a match out of us? It's never gonna happen. And a guy that like cosplay, like being a dinosaur and being like Tarzan, they're never gonna win the title out of us. So good stuff. I really like this.
I love when they go, and then there's Private Party.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And they're like, yep, Private Party. Okay, yep. And then it's like next.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I love how they were cutting everybody up. But then
they took him against Billy too. Like remember, you are like part of like a Hall of Fame, and you were part of like one of the greatest tag teams. I mean, I love the New Age Outlaws. I love the Road Dogg and Billy. But like they were like, oh, well, you think you're gonna get a title match? Fuck that.
And then Tully Blanchard with them, is good too. But of course, the heels just couldn't get heat, call all the other tag teams bullshit, and then just walk off with their music playing. They had to get ice dumped on them. They had to be like, duh. Like, I don't know why Tony Khan books every segment where the babyface has to go over.
Yeah. And, I don't like that. I don't like that at all, because then the Jurassic Express was chasing them down, and like you said, they got the eyes down onto, like, FTR and Tully Blanchard. I don't like that. Especially because then everybody was eating the cake.
Yeah.
You see Luchasaurus eating cake. You see, like, everybody, like, really? Where's the seriousness in this? No, we don't get tag team championships, but like we actually get cake. Oh yeah, legit. That's not the type of cake I like, or that's not the type of cake I like to eat. But anyway, Jean Paul, let's move on to actually the women's side of the the women's division, and let's go with like Nyla Rose against Taya Conti, newly signed. Like we said, we got the picture right here. And she's like newly signed by AEW, so she's really excited. So of course, when you sign your first match, you have to job out to Nyla Rose with Vicky Guerrero. So the Native Beast, I think the match was actually lasted way too long than what it was supposed to, and Ty actually dominated a little bit. So I don't like that, because like it should have been a few moves, and then Nyla Rose lose like a freaking beast. But that didn't happen, Mr. Leck.
Yeah, it could have been, Tay used their speed and like dodged around a little bit. Okay, and I do like the spot where she got like the the arm bar on Nyla, and they're like, oh, is she gonna tap? Is she gonna tap? And Excalibur, who I'm on his side for this, he's trying to call the action in the ring, and then you got fucking Tony Schiavone. Oh, Cody Rhodes is gonna make an announcement after the show's over, and then he's like, oh well, the action going on in the ring right now. Oh yeah, Cody's good. He literally said it twice in a row. I'm like, did his brain glitch? Are we in the Matrix? Like, what's going on here? So it's like, again, they have to plug the stupid Cody Rhodes thing that literally nobody cares about. But
absolutely. So I really don't understand what happened there. But like, I mean, of course, Nyla got the win with the power bomb. The Batista bomb.
Which was the right choice. Tay's legit, but it's like Nyla Rose. If she would have lost, she'd be done.
Because like now we found out she's the #1 contender, so she's ranked #1 in the ranking. So like Vicky Guerrero was kind of like a little bit of a promo right there. Excuse me, and like you said, Jean Paul, the fact that she's using the gold gimmick from WWE right there also signifies it's like, really, can you be a little different? No, I have to use the same shtick because that's what people know from me. Nothing bad, we love Vicky, but I mean, change it a little bit. That's all we're saying.
Exactly.
Yeah, change it a little bit. That's all. And then Hikaru Shida showed up. Wearing sweatpants, so that's legit. And with a candlestick, and that was it. They kind of like a stare down with Nyla. So you see that, like you said, they're gonna retake this feud. That's gonna be the main.
I don't want to see this feud. I mean, like it could have been Britt Baker, but they completely screwed that up by having the babyface. Again, Tony Khan has to have babyfaces go over every single match. So Big Swole won that. You're not going to do babyface versus babyface. So it's like, so we'll just do Nyla Rose again. And it's like, we don't care.
We don't care. Not at all. But we do care is to hear from, like, supposedly Mr. Clean, right? He put that on Instagram, so we put, like, there you go. We got to hear from Kenny Omega. He had a sit-down interview with, like, Jim Ross, and he's like, hey, what's next for Kenny Omega? He's like, can you please allow me to ask you what's next? And he's like, well, you win and lose championship. That's the nature of the business. That's the nature of what we do. But it's like, well, I think that right now it's time for me to be a singles guy. I thought that, like, I was having, like, a good time with Adam Hangman Page. I was kind of like enjoying my role with him as a tag team. But now, we don't have the championships anymore, so it's time for me to be back to be a singles guy. And like Jean Paul has been asking for weeks, he is going to be the cleaner very, very soon. I really think that, like, that's what they need to do to close the year and start the year fresh with Kenny Omega, and it's going to be really great. You, Jean Paul?
Yeah, this was a good promo, just for the fact that, it was pretty much signified he's turning heel. He's like, Hangman and we were legit, yeah, but, hey, not no more. And it's like, oh, Jim Ross asked him the same thing Tony asked Hangman. Are you going to try to reconcile? You guys going to try to get back together? He's like, Hangman is going to do his own shit. I got to do mine. Yeah. He's like, no. He's pretty much just like, no. Like, maybe at some point, like, who knows what happens in the future, but right now, no. I need to be who I said I was going to be when this company first started. That's the champion. That's the number one guy here.
That's what I did and also, WWE
exactly. And also, earlier, the Young Bucks, they tried to get an interview with, or Marvez tried to get an interview with them. He's like, oh, let me see if the Young Bucks are in here. And then they finally opened up the door. They super kicked him. So they got fined $5,000 each, fined. Yeah. So that's pretty much signifies that they're heel. And then Kenny's also kind of turning heel now. So, they listen to Rope Break. They're like, let's turn these guys heel and be legit.
Thank you guys for listening to Rope Break. We appreciate that. And we got to see Ricky Starks also dressed out as, like, Darby Allin. Taz came out and he's like, oh, like, he looks a little bulked up. He looks like more ripped than before. He looks bigger. And he pretty much got a promo on Darby Allin saying that, hey, this guy, like, they pretended to be like he's like all the daredevil, like he's all like he takes chances and all of that. No. He's like, I'm the legit thing. Ricky Starks, and hopefully, like, he gets over Darby Allin. Because Ricky Starks has a lot of potential. I enjoy, like, the stuff that he was doing on NWA, so we'll see what happens on that show.
And also Darby Allin, to me, he was wrestling at first. He was doing crazy stuff, but he was actually wrestling. Now everything he does is, let me just stab myself with a bunch of thumbtacks, or let me just jump off, giant bridges on my skateboard and all this stuff.
Let me hang out with, like, Tony Hawk. So, like,
yeah, it's like, he doesn't, like, let's see some more legit stuff for him, and too many start and stop pushes for Darby Allin. So I want to see Ricky Starks go over him too, because you can do more with Ricky Starks right now, I feel.
So no, Jean Paul, like you said, like, we're gonna have for next week, Thunder Rosa is back. She's gonna go against Eva, so we have a Hispanic girls match. Mexico against Puerto Rico, so that's going to be really cool.
Yeah, and it is for the championship too, so that's cool. But it probably means that Thunder Rosa is going to win.
Yeah, Thunder Rosa is going to win because everybody's just loving her run. So now let's go to, like, the main event, Mr. Eck. Let's go with, like, the TNT Championship match. Mr. Brody Lee, the Exalted One, going against the Natural Dustin Rhodes. See, this match was good, but like you said, Brody Lee is not going to lose that championship in a long time because the Dark Order needs that more than anything. So, and the match was good though. Dustin was always a really good contender. Dustin puts on, like, pretty good matches. His average up to way too good. Because you said it the best the one time you defined Dustin Rhodes. He does his shtick. He does his set of moves. He's good. He sells. So he's, that's all you need to see from him. He's always good. He's he's the same, but he's always good.
Yeah, exactly. He's not going to do anything really crazy, even though tonight there was, like, a Hurricane Rana and stuff, and it's like, oh, what's going on here? Obviously, the opponent sells the Hurricane Rana. It's the same as, like, the Canadian Destroyer, which he does. So that's not really
bomb, like Jean Paul will say.
Yeah, but so that's not really too much him. But I mean, this was a good match. It was good because I like Dustin. Brody, I think when you put him in there, like what I said to you, oh, those matches were legit with Randy Orton. Maybe it's because it was Randy Orton. So, he's good when he's with somebody that can, like, slow him down, be like, hey, let's have an actual match instead of just taking it to the outside every 5 seconds and just, But, I mean, the one thing that stood out to me is when he went to hit that kick, and he did not even hit Dustin at all. And then nobody mentioned it. It was just completely done. And then Excalibur had to go, well, he didn't get all that kick, and I think that Dustin used that momentum when he hit the clothesline. And I'm like, why do you even have to mention it? Just to
Well,
be
I
like,
guess, you
oh,
know, because they feel that like their fans like you are gonna catch on. So at least you gotta say acknowledge it, but kind of like put it in a positive light. You know what I mean?
yeah. But see, I always like when WWE's like, oh, they didn't get all that, and then they just move on. You know what I mean?
Well,
I don't
he
think
didn't get all the leverage on that,
Yeah.
but you know, but it's done. You know, like, but then in the end, of course, you know, Brody Lee had to win. I think it was the discus clothesline, right? I think.
Yeah,
that's what
yeah.
it was.
He hit a couple moves. He hit like I don't know what he hit before the clothesline, but he like countered Dustin. He hit something, then the big clothesline, and then okay. It was probably like the boot clothesline. You know, he's like Hogan.
Yep, and
Big
you know,
boot clothesline done.
and then we got to see like the members of the Dark Order beating the crap out of Dustin, and also QT Marshall was right there. But like they all got like, you know, they showed the Dark Order standing tall and showing their dominance, which is good though, because again, we keep saying that the Dark Order has been portrayed really crappy. Right now, at least there's a little bit, there's a few baby steps towards the right direction, right? I will say that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the fact that they had like, yeah, they had QT Marshall. Yeah, they had QT Marshall out there, like you said. He was beat up. He was done. That was at least okay. I don't like how the one loser was wearing Brody Lee's coat. Like, imagine if, like, The Undertaker took off his cape when he was in the Ministry and, like, Midian put that on.
Oh, yeah. Man.
You know what I mean? Like, really? You know, like, I'm like, okay.
Again, you know, professional wrestling is great.
I mean, but the only thing is, like, you know, there was no Anna Jay. Or at least I didn't see her. Was that because Jim Ross? If that's the case, you know, then I will be pissed.
She was on Dark. That I know because like, well, you gotta like, we gotta watch all another show 2 hours out of our time, and that she wasn't there. But like, I think that like they're still gonna play that storyline with Taya. With Taya, with Tanya, whatever, Taya Conti. So they're gonna like play that, and maybe Anna Jay also like maybe they need her whenever like Jim Rose is gonna say something like sexual about her. So we'll see. But you know, that was pretty much the show, Jean Paul. That was pretty much the show. Like, well, at least like, you know, if they keep developing, at least the stories is gonna be better. Maybe the wrestling was not too great this time. We'll wait, you know, next week. And they were saying that they're not sure if it's gonna be on Thursday or Wednesday because the playoffs. So it's like, oh, if you have a DVR, make sure you just put it there so you can catch all the action of AEW Dynamite. Okay. I mean, I guess we got to do that. So we're not really sure. So Game 6. So, you know, and like we got to pump it up because of all the football fans that they love us here. They, you know, tomorrow, I think, it's back. So, you know, we're not going to be covering that. We don't have the time, but, you know, hey, football fans, enjoy that. You know, football is back. So good stuff. Jean Paul, in the early days of Jean Paul, like he used to love football. So one day he promised to have bring your road break football one day. So we'll see about that. So Jean Paul, let's remind everybody where they can find us.
Watching the game tomorrow, you know, the Chiefs and the Texans, you can, you know, be on your phone and you can click on Rope Break on Facebook and follow us there. You can go on Twitter, the OG Rope Break, Instagram, the original Rope Break, and right here on YouTube. So, you know, during the commercials and, you know, all that other time, if you missed the reviews, you can watch us right here on the original Rope Break.
Halftime of that, you know, that game, the Chiefs and the Texans, I think it is.
Yeah.
The Chiefs and the Chops, you know, all of them, you know, good stuff. So, Jean Paul, thank you. And, you know, family, we're going to be back for SmackDown. We have a lot of surprises for you guys. So, Jean Paul and I are always working to bring you the best content in YouTube and in the whole entire world. Better than AEW, better than WWE, better than Impact. All three of them combined in right here. You know, with these two charismatic guys. So, there's only one more thing that is left to say, Jean Paul, and that is...